The market has been crazy out here, but I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing in my portfolio and how I'm doing. Let's get into it. Welcome to Piece of the Pie with Ty. I'm Ty, and I appreciate you guys coming to check out my channel. If you like any of the information or content in this video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out with others finding this video like you did. And share the content if you do find anything interesting. My channel is all about making sure people are aware of the different avenues to get a piece of the pie. This video is an update to my game-winning portfolio. My game-winning portfolio 5. So without further ado, let's go to the computer. Alright guys, we're taking a look at my Robinhood account. If anybody has been following me, you guys should know whereabout I was on my last game-winning portfolio. If not, go check out my game-winning portfolio 4. But anyway, I was sitting around 39+%, and then over the last month and some change, we had this correction go on, and my account went as low as 22%, and now I'm sitting at 27%. But yeah, that correction was heavy. But I'm gonna tell y'all what I saw with that. What I saw with that is that mainly happened in my account. The market, of course, it went down. A lot of things did go down, but not as much as cryptocurrency. And because of that, during this past month, I have been buying more dividend stocks than anything else, because my dividend stocks have been winning the whole time this dip happened. And as I said in previous videos, I would prefer to have my account more heavier in dividends. And me taking that big dip like that, it didn't really hurt much because I'm still up overall. So I didn't panic and sell anything. I just rode it. And now I'm pretty sure it's going to bounce back up. Just like previous dips. Dip, bounce back up, dip, bounce back up. It was just a heavy dip. Heavy dip to watch for some people. But I'm a long-term investor, so I keep my cool when I see dips. And I buy typically if I see these dips. If I have extra funds, I go and buy the companies that are tanking, because if it's in my portfolio, more than likely I have faith in that company, and I have done my research on that company. So that's what I do. I don't panic and sell out of anything, and I'm a long-term investor, so it makes it easier for me. I just keep buying more. But we're gonna go down my game-winning portfolio, and I'm gonna show you guys what I did buy. All right, and where I stand compared to my last video. I have it on percentage gains, and we're gonna go ahead and start it off. Sphd. I'm sitting at a growth of 22.77%, and I bought 3 more Sphd since my last video. Sphd is sitting around about $45 a share, but I steadily keep buying more. So it's up 4% since my last video. So again, I'm telling you guys, I keep buying more of it, and the whole time it's still going up during all of this correction and everything. That is one of the companies that didn't go down at all, and that's because it's a dividend ETF. All right, Tmfc, the Motley Fool Index, it's sitting at around the same thing it was in my last game-winning portfolio. I didn't buy more, of course. Cyber is a tech ETF, and it did have an increase of 4% since my last game-winning portfolio. It's in at 16.48%. FHLC, I'm sitting at around 11.72%, and that's an increase of 4% since my last video. Nerd, that is a esports and electronic gaming ETF. Nerd is down 4% since my last video. But the strong ETFs, they did pretty good during the market correction. They didn't really go down as much as a lot of the other companies, but yeah, they did pretty good. AMD, I'm down 7% in AMD. Apple, I didn't jot down what I was at last video, but I'm sitting probably about around the same. Microsoft, I'm down 2% since my last video in Microsoft. AYX, that's a cloud-based big data company. I'm down negative 45%. That one is kind of hard to watch, but I'm just down 5% from my last video. But that's one that's in the tech sector that hasn't been doing good over this whole correction. Cloudera also is down negative 3.66%, and that is a increase. That's an increase of 2% since my last video. So yeah, the tech sector, man. CRSR, that's Corsair Gaming, and Corsair Gaming is down negative 14.37%, and that's a decrease of about 4%. So if you guys can see, these numbers are not really that heavy, especially after a correction. So I'm not worried at all, especially with how I'm doing it. If anything, if I get a little extra and I balance my portfolio out a little more, I might go back into these companies while they're down. So when it does pop back up, I'll be in the good. NOC, that's Norfolk Grumman, I'm up 17%, and that is an increase of about 8% since my last video. And that's a big industrial company. They focus on making sure they build things for aerospace, airlines, satellites, all type of government contracts. That's what Norfolk Grumman do. And I would like to point out, me myself, Norfolk Grumman makes up, like, with those 5 shares, they make up like 10% of my portfolio. So I'm really bullish on Norfolk Grumman, and yeah, I got faith in Norfolk Grumman. But they're definitely up. HECO, they're up 31%, and that is an increase of about 4% since my last video. So the companies that are in the industrial aerospace field, they haven't been hit by this correction. They have been doing better during this correction. Southwest, Delta, both of those are airlines, and both of them are lower than my last video. Delta is down 7% since my last video. Southwest is down 5% since my last video. But those percentages, I'm up 58%, and I'm in the Southwest, and I'm up 86% in Delta. So again, the airline field has been doing great. It's been doing really great, and I would like to point out that's why you should make sure you follow your own path and don't stick too much to what some of these billionaires say. I say that because I remember that big scare when everybody was like, oh my God, Warren Buffett, he sold all his airlines. Oh my God. Warren Buffett doesn't invest like you invest. No one invests like you invest. So always remember, someone else's move might not be your best move. So I was just looking at that like, dang, if I would have bought more airline, and I could have had a 86% growth if I would have bought like 20 shares of Delta. But anyway, hindsight. But yeah, I kept my shares and I've still bought into the airline field. But again, someone else's moves may not be your best move. Everybody got a goal and objective for their portfolio. So keep that in mind, especially while you're following people. Lowe's is up 10.3%, and that is a decrease since my last video of about 3%. Darren Restaurants, they are down 2% since my last video, and I'm sitting at a growth of 38% percent, and that's great. And I still think they're gonna keep going up with everything opening back up with the COVID situation. And as you see, this field is doing good. Darren Restaurant, Cisco, Coke, they kind of all fall into that food service sector, and they're doing good during this whole correction. It's mainly the tech field, man. Those up and coming tech companies that everybody had faith in, and they're the next thing. They were getting hit. Cisco is up 15%, and that is a decrease of about 8% since my last video. Coke is I'm sitting at a growth of about 8.55%, and that's an increase of about 2% since my last video. Bam, that's Brookfield Financial, and they're sitting around the same thing that they were, and they are doing great too. Brookfield, you kind of can classify them in the financial sector, and clearly they have been doing good too. So certain sectors have been doing great during these correction, and the financial sector and the aerospace sector are two of the spaces that's been doing good, and also the restaurant field is coming back to life. EPRT is doing great. That's one of my favorite dividend companies. I have bought 8 more shares of EPRT since my last video, and you guys can see I only buy whole shares, but now I'm almost to the point that every time I get a dividend from EPRT, it buys another share for me. So that's how you make your dividends work for themselves. But they've been doing great. So I'm sitting at 26% growth, and that's an increase of about 3% since my last video. And they are one of the companies that have been doing great during the correction. So me just sticking with my dividend companies, I haven't really lost anything. I've been gaining the whole time I keep buying my dividend companies. Not so much the tech sector, because it's still tanking and we don't know how far it's going to tank. But again, it's still a good time to buy some of those to average down on some positions if you did buy in high. Nova, I'm sitting at around negative 6.71%, and that's a decrease of about 20% since my last video. CRSP, that's CRISPR. CRISPR is sitting around negative 16.97%, and believe it or not, I'm up 8% since my last video in that company. CRISPR, I have been buying more to average down on my position. I had 2 shares, but I bought them kind of high, so I bought 2 more shares, and that kind of helped that percentage go down. And TPYG, that is a tech company that's going to eventually become EV box. They deal with electric charging of cars. I'm down in that, but they are still good prospects. I'm down 27% since my last video. I have been looking at them, and I might go in and buy more of those because they're pretty cheap, just to average down on that position a little more. And one of everyone's favorite, AMC. AMC has jumped out the gym over the last week or two. I'm sitting at positive 51% in AMC, and that's an increase of about 80% since my last video. So AMC did jump. And the talk of the town, cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies have been tanking over the last 2-3 weeks. I'm sitting in a gain of Bitcoin and a growth of Bitcoin of about 204%. But in my last video, I was sitting around 397% growth. And Ethereum, I'm sitting at a growth of about 234%. In my last video, I just had a gain of 182%. So Ethereum has done better since my last video, but Bitcoin has been getting beat up. But that's why I've kind of just been sitting on the sideline, because I'm still sitting good in my positions. I bought into Bitcoin around 11,000 a coin, so I'm still pretty good. I'm still sitting at double in like 7 months, so I'm good. But I've just been sitting on the sidelines as it comes to cryptocurrencies, because I've noticed that in my account, cryptocurrencies contribute to about 18% of my whole portfolio. I only want cryptocurrencies to have about 10% control of my portfolio, but cryptocurrencies did so well, so they ran up. Cryptocurrencies are great investments, and some traders only focus on cryptocurrencies, but they are very volatile. So I've been just falling back on cryptos until that gets around about maybe 10% like I want it, and focus more on my dividend stocks and ETFs. So that's what I've been doing during this correction, trying to balance out that I only have like 10% in crypto, so I'm not going to be really buying more. I'm just sitting, letting it, do what it do, and not be affected by all the drama. I can say, if you are in cryptos, don't fall for all the hype. Believe in what you invested in and keep it moving. All right. So yeah, guys, that was a look at my game winning portfolio 5, and I showed you guys what I was doing during this whole correction and what I'm focusing more on, and that's my dividend companies. All right. If you like any of the content in this video, please hit that like button and come back and see me. I got plenty more to talk about. Thanks.